Good morning, everyone. Hello, this is Wella Kidan. Welcome to my channel. I'm really excited to make these videos. I just think it would be nice if I make daily video for just 1 week. And so this is the second video of the week. I am in a different place. I kind of forgot the name. So there are very interesting, natural, beautiful, and weird places in Rwanda. The reason why I said weird is the lake that I stayed over last night. My Rwandan friend told me that he'd seen aliens in that place, and I was really curious about it. So the kind of energy that I get coming from the Lake Kivu and the area is that it was visited by extraterrestrial beings. Spirit told me, of course, as a divine feminine, I have a very sharp intuition. So Spirit told me that that place was visited many times by extraterrestrial beings, which gets me to believe that we are not really alone at the end of the day. People living here on Earth, humans, think we are the only creature God knows in the entire universe. We are really we feel empowered for wrong reasons, and actually we find ourselves in a very low place for wrong reasons. At the same time, we don't feel empowered enough, because we think life is suffering and there's no way of making it out of that suffering. So we're not really alone, and we communicate with other creature in other planets and galaxies for sure. Because not because I am in this place that I realized this for the first time, but even the overall impression I had on my trip and the people that I'm traveling with. And there's really some people it's just for the first time that they're here on Earth. It's their first time. Now is a golden age, it's Aquarius age, and the massive awakening is happening, guys. People are awakening, people are being poked, triggered by the circumstances of their lives, because it's time to awaken. It's time to really know that we're spirit, we're energy. So because of that, some human beings that you see around you, they are here for the first time. Me, if you ask me, my soul has been all over the earth. I know earth inside out. I have memories of past lives from all of centuries, and most of my life I've been Black and African. But anyways, that doesn't even matter. It's just I know earth. But one of my friends that I'm traveling with currently is really, he has that vibe of being technologically advanced in a different way, and he's a little bit detached from the earth, and he's a very loving being, but he doesn't feel like he belongs to this place. I mean, it's not a full belonging because of his limited experience. So we're trying to figure that out, why that happens, because we have this deep existential conversations every time. So it could be that since so many beings are now here on Earth, they chose to incarnate to support this massive awakening. He could be one of them. It's just some souls are very generous, very genuine, very beautiful, that they just decide to incarnate in one place, in a universe, or in a planet, to support the evolution of that place, and the evolution of life in that particular place. So yeah, I mean, that got me thinking about the song that I heard for the first time a couple of months ago. I have a German friend. His name is Uwe, if I spell it right. He's an incredible reggae musician, and he's got an album called Free Your Mind. So in that album, one of his songs is he talks about how any and every war that's going on here on earth at this time is a spiritual war. It's not a physical war. And I agree with that. I even say the same thing once I started my spiritual journey. I saw so many things that didn't make sense that were just happening at an energy level. So what did he mean by that? What did he mean when he says it's a spiritual war? Is for example, in the times of hunting and gathering, and even after that, when people were trying to figure out how to survive, they would fight over a plot of land, right? This land belongs is mine. This land is mine. Then they would fight. Once they get their lands, they're good. They're good. They don't have anything against each other. What I'm going for is the land. What I'm going for is the property. What I'm going for is survival. I don't have anything against you. If you give me what I want from you, you're free. You can go wherever you want. I don't want to mess with your emotion and psychology, right? But right now, it's the war is between the darkness and the light. It's not necessarily a war. It's an attack. I would call it an attack because it's the darkness that wants to put a fight with the light. The light is always holding a space for the darkness to make a choice. One thing I have understood after trying to save people for so many years, not knowing that my ego wanting to be the savior, one, and two, as an empath, I would generally want to stop human suffering. So after trying to save other people, what I've figured out is it's really not up to me to do that. It's really not up to me to do that. Everybody has to make their own choices. And yet, as a light, as a being with so much light in my heart, with a lot of love for humanity, to a point where I devote myself, my life, my soul to this process of producing positive change in the world. All I have to do is to just sustain my grace, you know, just to let my grace shine brighter, that it ignites on everybody in the room. So that's the kind of tendency that the light has. It just wants to hold the space for the darkness to make choices, to awaken on its own. But the darkness works on the opposite, pretty much opposite way, because it wants to pull the light into itself. It wants to pull everything that's lively into itself. So it's a spiritual war. Even I am from Gondar, okay, it's a war zone now. There's a lot of chaos happening in Amara region. It's a race war, the same war that happened in Rwanda. Even though it has some basic differences, it's really the same because it's between, it's a kind of civil war, right? So it's the devil wanting to tear people apart. It's the devil against unity. I mean, what do I mean by the devil is not the traditional, you might be imagining now a monster with a big horn and it's black. No, that's not what I mean. By the devil, I mean we live in duality, right? There's duality in this, and for us to exist, there has to be two things, and one produces the other. So right now we are getting lost collectively. There's so much chaos in the world. There is war, there's disease, there's betrayal, there is narcissism, there's ignorance, there is insignificance, there's envy, there's competition, there's jealousy, right? All of these emotions come from the mind, and we are so identified with the mind collectively. It's the mind is so empowered in our society. Almost when I talk to people and when I mention heart, how I listen to my heart, how I love my heart, I was laughed at. I was judged for being meditative. I was judged for claiming to have my own time, because the mind is so empowered. Now people are curious about how much money you make every month. Not to say money is a bad thing. We all make it in our own way, but it's not something that I value more than my my essence, more than my existence. Okay, so the mind is very much empowered now. All the devil, all it has to do is to put a piece of thought in your head. Okay, that race is hates you. That race thinks that uh, you are not good enough. That person is coming after you. All of this mistrust and paranoia that's being put in our mind that we shouldn't trust, and we're not supposed to trust, because we can definitely transcend the mind. One thing that happened to me in this place, because I'm going through a rebirth also, is I had transcended my mind. This morning I woke up, I had some grateful thoughts about my twin flame, but no, I didn't give in. I know what I want. I know that I love my twin flame. So whatever is going on between us, I don't believe what the story that my mind writes, because I know what I want. I mean, there is a part of me that's firm. There's a part of me that's simplified, overly simplified. That's just, there's a part of me that's just flowing like water. When I say I, it's not even a part of me, it's actually me. When I say I love, what do I mean by I? The I that I know is spirit. The I that I know is energy. It's unlimited, it's infinite, and that's who I am. That I'm not my story, I'm not my background, I'm not my trauma. It doesn't mean I have to deny them and they don't matter, but they only matter for this lifetime. And this lifetime is really like a drop in the ocean. I mean, comparing, I'm an old soul, I've been through a lot, so in this lifetime, whatever happens, I'm okay with it. God's will prevail. Always in my life, I surrender to whatever God wills in my life, because I have seen it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I was really in a bad place mentally. I didn't think it would be okay. I didn't think life would be the same, but now I learned how we judge so quick. We judge situations and people so quick. We don't really give second chance to our lives, to ourselves. We go hard on ourselves. So, my friend, it's always tomorrow. Every day is a new chance. I know you have heard it in songs, and we have read it in books about the present moment, and how it matters in our lives to be able to tune into the present moment. So these people that are like fighting with each other, against each other, brothers and sisters, waging war against each other, it's a spiritual fight. It's the mind, because the mind is overly empowered. The masculine energy is all about action, and it's now aggressive. That masculine energy is aggressive. I'm giving you the general point of view from a higher perspective. I don't watch the news. I don't count the numbers of people that died in a war every day in my country, or in this war that's going on in Ethiopia. I'm not really. What's the point? If I'm not doing anything, what's the point of watching all of that misery and just introducing that knowledge to my mind? I don't really understand how some people do it. I mean, some people love watching horror movies, or some people love seeing people hurting each other, fighting, and they get almost excited to know how many people have died this week. I mean, that's not for me. I'm not judging, but as an empath, I don't want to intoxicate myself with the news like that. I would rather just do what's expected of me as an individual, to be a better individual. I'm making this video, it's one contribution, right? I'm always doing something about my life, and I'm always thinking about my country. It breaks my heart that this spiritual war is escalating. Even I'm a victim of that spiritual war, because so many people that are supposed to work with me, that are supposed to be my ally, have turned against me, just because the devil put some kind of thought in their heads which are not true. But me, as a light being, I don't try to prove anything. I don't have anything to prove against rejection or wickedness. I just live my life the way I want to live it, and I pray for them. Each and every individual that intended harm on me, that intended whatever that's just of the darkness, on me, I mean, I pray for them. I wish that they get blessed. I wish that they know what love is. I wish that they could listen to their hearts and learn from their mistakes instead of perpetuating the pain, perpetuating the trauma with even with their actions and thoughts and emotions. Okay, so it's really spiritual war. I don't think it was the same in Rwanda, but at the end of the day, of course, the devil gets involved in every fight. Fights takes two people. Okay, when someone comes to I and insult me, if I react to that, it's because I have something in me that resonates to something that they have in them that caused the overall fighting situation. Okay, so it's just when we're triggered, it's because there's something in us that's reacting to that trigger, and that's what had got me to this place of lightness. And I choose love because all of my triggers had worked for me. Triggers are my friends. This is my trauma that I say most of the time. Triggers are my friends. Just because someone triggers me, that doesn't mean I have to hate them or I have to judge them. Instead, I have to be smart and I have to take advantage of that trigger. Why am I triggered? I have to sit with myself, right? That the world doesn't have time for this. It doesn't seem so. People are rushing around in a great panic to build the next house, to buy the next car. And yet, where are we evolutionary? When I solve the war in my mind, when I solve the war in my home and my family, that's when I can actually solve the war in my country. But people are so much, there's so much turmoil in people's lives and in people's minds that they pretend to be concerned about their country and the situation, and yet they're not doing anything about it. They're just watching the news. If you ask me, do I want to solve the situation in Ethiopia? Yes. Am I sad about it? Yes. Does it break my heart to know that children are dying, animals are dying? Yes. Does it break my heart that our story is distorted over such a silly, stupid matter? I mean, if you ask these people that are fighting with each other, if you ask why they are fighting, they wouldn't give you a legitimate reason. They would just generally say one thing or the other. So it's a shame. I feel shame because of this situation, and it breaks my heart. But I am here to do something about it. I'm in Rwanda because I'm observing. I'm an observer. I'm an empowered African leader, right? So I observe how people live. For example, here in Rwanda, just learning from observation how how the genocide affected the people, it made them to obey the law. They obey the law. Everybody, if you see almost 90% of Rwandans, I would say that I saw and I felt the energy of, they obey the law. So for one country to prosper and to grow and to catch up with the rest of the world economically and culturally, of course, the citizens have to obey the law. I mean, when I say I'm a rebel, I'm not saying I want to cause a distraction in the country. Of course, there's some laws that have to be obeyed and accepted and lived by. So the people here, they obey the law. They are really disciplined when they walk, how they dress, how they do their business, how they work. Is really, there's a nice discipline here, and there's a tendency of obeying the law, wanting to work in harmony, in unity, because they suffered from the separation and genocide. And there is that. On the other side of things, something that I would call negative, how they are affected negatively by the genocide is it's kind of, there's a kind of depression going on. I don't see passion all that much. There's some numbness. Imagine if you see your family dying in front of you, your wife being killed in front of you, your children passing away on your hands. It's just there's some numbness, they're I don't think they're emotionally in touch. I don't think they're in touch with their emotions. They're like there's some kind of numbness, withdrawal. I see in most people. So you see, it, even it happened years ago, but the effect is still here, both positive and negative. On the positive side, they are harmonious. Everything that you see is harmonious. The city, the people are disciplined and they obey the law, and of course they are economically advanced, much more than Ethiopia, I would say. But at the same time, you don't see that passion and heroism. You don't see that energy that you see in Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, every people that you would encounter have some kind of energy that they want to apply on something, a kind of passion that you don't see it here. So, what do we have to do to overcome this spiritual war? Just start with yourself. Really start with yourself. I mean, my Rwandan friend that I'm staying with, a lovely Rastaman, a walk individual. He likes burning fire every night in his house. And we're sitting by the fire and talking, and he told me, when people who are supposed to love you and who are supposed to care for you, who are supposed to reciprocate the love that you give, turn against you, it's not them. It's not them. It's the demon inside of them. So what's the demon in you, or the demons in you? How are they reacting to their external environment? How are they interacting in your relationship? That's why I told you to sit with your trigger. I know that I trigger people, and people trigger me. But when I'm triggered, I don't make it personal. If I'm triggered, for example, I was triggered 3 weeks ago because my expectations, things didn't go the way I expected them to go. So I was triggered, massively triggered. Almost I was my inner child. Some of my shadows had predominantly just, I was possessed by those archetypes of the inner child, the codependent, the addict, and stuff. But like, when I was triggered, I didn't make it personal. I didn't blame the person that hurt me or the people that conspire against me. I didn't blame anyone. I just, of course, I felt victim, but I didn't blame them still. But then I see it with the emotions, with the feelings, with why, what is it? What is it in me? What is it reacting that to this? Which wound is reacting to this situation, to this external situation? And of course, look at me now. I'm in a very good place right now. So if you're my friend, if you're watching this video, and if you think that this or that, if there is any negative emotion and thought happening to you now because of this video, because you think that I'm fortunate, or because you think that I'm this or that, whatever, just sit with that emotion. Ask yourself, what is it that she's doing that I can't do? Or what is it that she's doing that I don't want to do? Because it's not personal. When you react to a certain situation, do not react the first. I'm training myself to respond instead of react. And I tell you, as an empath, it's kind of still hard because, well, I'm sensitive, but I'm doing it. I'm learning from people. I'm learning from my environment. So you can do the same. Yeah, it's a spiritual war, definitely. It's a spiritual war, and I wish for it to end soon. I have this prophetic sensitivity that comes to the surface the more I awaken, and I am a connector of the dots, if anything. Yeah, I'm that. So I know how to connect the dots, the past, the present, and the future. I can set a rational prediction about the future based on how I feel in the now. So I get a feeling the war is going to end soon. The war in Ethiopia is going to end soon. But the effect, how it's going to affect us, you see the genocide in Rwanda is still playing out in different ways. So how is it going to affect us? I can't say. I can't say anything about that. But that's what I'm scared of. It's not the war that I'm scared of. It's how it's going to affect the next generation. And I wish the government of Ethiopia could do some kind of prevention. And I know, I believe that they're still trying their best. But prevention, some kind of prevention. I don't even know what I mean by that. It's just, yeah, I'm not a politician. I'm just I'm learning about leadership because I see myself somewhere in time working with team and in group. But I have so much going on in my life. I want to set up a healing studio here in Rwanda, which I'm working on, and it's going really well. I'm going to be doing a Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner, just like I said on the video that I made about self-confidence, believing in yourself. I have always been a healer with a very low self-esteem. So now I'm feeling empowered to do it here because the people are very welcoming. There are so many foreigners in Rwanda that are interested in healing work, energy healing work, who would really understand what it means to be spiritual, what it means to be a light worker. And I am always genuine with my intention of healing. In Ethiopia, I was called names. I was misunderstood by many. I think people are overly sexual and not educated all that much. Whenever I try to have healing sessions with Ethiopians and yeah, my people, it didn't work out. Of course, there's even a quote, prophets aren't honored in their country, something like that. I think that happened to me to some extent because, well, how can people love something that they don't understand? You have to understand what's going on to love it, to benefit from it, right? So I have that exposure here in Rwanda, which I love so much. So in a sense, when I heal someone, I am fighting. I'm a warrior of love. I'm fighting and I'm reducing the effect of this spiritual war. If we meditate, if we do yoga, if we pray for our country, for our family, if we do some basic stuff, some basic little stuff that makes a difference in everybody's lives, we can definitely tap into unity consciousness. The earth had ascended already to 5D consciousness, and people are waking up all over the planet. There are so many light workers, shamans, healers like myself on the planet. And I wish, if you are watching this video, I'm sure you're being called, and I hope that you're going to answer the call and you live for the truth in your hearts. Yeah, so I think I talked too much. uh, the weather is affecting my my voice, and my throat chakra is opening. It's overly active these days, so my voice is a little yeah, off, a little off. But I hope you enjoyed this video. There's so much love that's coming to you from Rwanda, from this beautiful place, and from me. I'm gonna see you on the next video that I'm going to be making tomorrow. So yeah, this is what I'm up to. Just sharing some nature with you. May you be blessed. Much love. See you later. Bye.